Welcome to Talk-No-Jutsu. We're talking about One Piece, chapter 1185. Mind your own beeswax. Yo, why is Brook the most interesting he's ever been as a character in this flashback? Yo, second thought. Why is Brook more interesting than freaking Emu? What is this? Like, are we in, like, a shonen flashback renaissance? First, we got the Kagurabachi war arc flashback. Now we got this solid hitter right over here. I'm just saying, it's a good time to be a flashback. Like, yo, I wish I had flashbacks like this growing up, dude. Like, I'll take this over the Naruto ostrich arc, the freaking curry episode, any day of the week. But anyways, let's get back to this. So we're following up more on Brook's flashback of his home kingdom, and this arc's just freaking awesome, dude. Lady Kendall is sick. Like, she's an amazing fighter. Unfortunately, we can't be saved from Brook's catchphrase, and it's not appealing as a kid as it is an adult. It's just not good, and I wish it would go away. But at least as a kid, we could kind of, I don't say we could excuse it, but I just wish this manga, like, I get the mangas tried to show that, like, oh, well, he gets scolded for it, so it's fine. I'm like, no, it's not fine, because you chose to wrote it that way. Why is this character like this? I just can't stand it. But it's fine, because Lady Candle's in the picture and everything's alright. So we get to see him learning music, getting actual instruments, being a pro, him learning fencing, and learning his techniques from Lady Candle, getting more of her backstory. It kind of puts into context, like, him last chapter trying to be like, oh yeah, Lady Candle, when her husband passed, she's mine. I'm running game to her. And to see her pretty much raise him, like, he can't be older than like 10, right? Like, it's kind of like a weird dynamic. I mean, obviously Lady Candle is like turning him down in every corner. That, like, we're not humoring any of this. You know what this actually reminds me of? This reminds me of Black Clover a little bit, like Asta and the nun's relationship. It reminds me a lot of that, where, like, obviously it's an inappropriate relationship. Obviously the older woman figure in the situation is turning it down, and we just have, like, the pervy kid just yeah. Not my favorite part of One Piece, or any shonen for that matter, but it's here. And we kind of get to see more. We get to see Brook kind of talking to Princess Shuri, and kind of filling her in on, like, why, you know, he looks up to her mom and all that good stuff. And Shuri's kind of like, yo, stop talking about my mom, dude. I like you. And also, I don't like that either. I don't like none of this. Like, it's such a weird dynamic, because obviously, like, yes, the characters are turning them down, but you know what it is in a weird way, especially because Shuri came back. That reminds me of Seven Deadly Sins, and I don't like that manga at all. Dude, I don't need Meliodas. I've been ducking Meliodas for years, and you brought him into my One Piece manga? Why did you do this to me? But at least this character, Brook, can actually do the right thing here and turn that child away. But we get more into the story, and then we get a tragic. I guess there was like a poison mist, like, on the bog. Like, there was just some, like, I don't even know, like a plague that happened in Hesperia. I guarantee you this is probably man-made. Like, I know Caesar wasn't around at the time, but with the way that One Piece has been kind of connecting the dots with, like, the different devil fruits, I'm thinking of, like, the Berry no Mi coming up in the Kaido flashback. I would not be surprised if there was some world government character that set up the plague for Hesperia to weaken the kingdom before they tried to take it over. So, and they lost their main warrior as well too with Lady Kendall. So that definitely is something that I wouldn't be surprised if they try to set it up that way. And now we kind of get into setup where this kind of turns, and the King's trying to fight. They're setting up this war, and Brook's doing this thing, you know, cutting everybody. Nobody even knows they got cut. His ability gets even more ridiculous. Like the previous chapter, like Brook was able to cut people that like didn't notice they were cut like hours ago. And I'm like, all right, man, that's kind of ridiculous, but okay. And then we get to the end of the chapter, and we see Shuri gets Dami reversied. You know, the old oopsie daisy, I killed my dad. And who's in the background? Do we see who's in the background? I mean, this has clearly got to be a not a celestial dragon. This has clearly got to be a elder, a World 5 elder that we don't know yet, or maybe like a younger version of them. But he has the hat. You know, it's the crazy part. Now that I'm looking at it, the hat is the same jailer hat from Impel Down. So I'm wondering if like was Emu incarnation, and also and then we see the bird. I'm kind of looking at the chapter now. We're seeing the bird from like Emu, like one of the Phoenix incarnation. So this must be like a World 5 elder, probably the jailer of Impel Down. That was like one of Emu's like servants at the time. And Shuri's like, "Oh, Brook, aren't you happy?" First of all, Brook, how in the heck did you escape this? You are like, don't get me wrong, Brook in this flashback is established to be pretty strong. Like he's for a guy with zero hockey, this man is pretty strong considering in this flashback. So knowing what we know about Brook, especially like later in the timeline, Brook has zero hockey. How's he getting out of this? Brook has 0 devil fruits. How is he getting out of this? So this is definitely like a crazy turn of events, but this is cool. I think this is what Dami Reversi. I think this is when Dami Reversi is actually interesting. When you're turning characters like this against each other. I personally don't like Dami Reversi just because the whole immortality and there's not even lasting consequences, like because like usually a series that does like a thing like this, like I think of like Naruto with like the Edo Tensei, is that there's a real cost to the immortality, right? Like in Naruto it was, you know, you had to use a person that's passed to pretty much, you had to have a living soul and a past soul to create the Edo Tensei, right? And when you defeated the Edo Tensei, or I should say sealed them because they had immortal bodies, that would technically re-kill the person. So that would essentially be the consequence of doing Edo Tenseis, because technically you lost 2 people. You lost the person that was sacrificed, and you lost the person that you just sealed away. But with Dami Reversi, it's more of like just corruption, and it still grants immortality, but there's no consequence to like, unless, like outside like Emu just like saying like, all right, I'm taking away my ability and I'm just gonna like drain the person. But outside of that, like if you're just fighting a character, there's no consequences to Dami Reversi, and I feel like that needs to change to keep Emu interesting. I feel like characters not facing any consequences is very weird in this show, and unfortunately we've seen it before. Dare I bring up the egregious sin of Pell not dying from from carrying a bomb in Alabasta. But hey man, we've come a long way from that time. I just hope we learned our lesson. But yeah, that was chapter 1185. I'm liking this flashback though. I am liking this flashback. I'm very curious to see what's going on. This is way more interesting than the Emu fight so far. I just think Emu's not really doing it for me right now. It's too soon for that type of villain. I just feel like we already know Emu's not going to be the last villain because of where we're seeing Emu, and I don't really care for the Dami Reversi outside of the narrative implications. You know, the fighting capability side, I'm not in love with it, but the narrative side, it's providing some interesting conflicts. But all right, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.